How's it going, musical warriors? Gunny's here. We're going to talk about a new section we got going on here. It's called band stuff. So basically this one is for my students so you can learn how to do basic things with your instruments, and we're going to be saving time in the process. So we're going to start with the trombone. All right, so the things that you need to be able to have a very good slide. I use this super slick stuff. So it has three parts. You have your slide cream, you have your slide treatment, and you have your spray bottle. So it is a three-step process. You also need to make sure that you have something to wipe the inner slide off with, because you want to get all the old gunk off of there. All right, so one thing I want to talk about is when you have your slide, your inner slide and your outer slide, try not to divide them, because you can actually hurt your inner slide very, very easily. So you should do things very carefully. All right, guys, so when you do your slide, you need to have super slick, and you want to have your super slick spray bottle with just water. This is your treatment, and this is your slide cream. So it's a three-step process. However, step one should always be that you clean the inner slide. Now you'll notice I already got the outer slide off. So you want to make sure that when you're doing this, you have a good flat surface, and you want to make sure that you do things nice and thoroughly and slow, and without the possibility of dropping the inner slide and bending it, because it is not protected. It can only be protected when it is inside the outer slide. So what I am doing now is I am taking off all of the crud. Now if you don't have a cleaning, this is a special cleaning cloth. If you don't have one of these, you're going to want to use something like a handkerchief or something like that. A lint-free rag would be fine. You don't want to use like a paper towel. You don't want to use Kleenex or anything like that, because that'll all leave residue. All right, so you will notice that at the end of the slide you have dimples right here, and that's where the slide gets a little bit wider than the rest of the inner slide. So it's at that point that we are going to put everything. So you start with the cream, and we're just going to put a little bit of cream on both sides. I actually put a little too much, but that's all right. Too much is better than not enough. So you put it on just that spot there. All right. Then of course you want to wipe off your finger because it's got stuff on it. Now you take the inner slide, you take the outer slide, and this is the way it came off. You always want to use your guide here. This is your slide lock. So what you want to do is you want to insert just half and work it around. Okay? And you just continue to work it up the slide. Okay? Using all kinds of motions, circular, everything. And like I said, you want to do this nice and carefully, because if you don't do it carefully, you could dent the inner or outer slide, and then you have a repair on your hands. Now you take it to do the opposite side. See all that excess right there? We will wipe that off. Okay? But the idea is to work it in, work it in, work it in. Okay? Different movements. Make sure that you're trying to get as much of that slide cream on the inner slide as possible. Okay, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get the slide cream all the way up to the top, but you have to. It is imperative. Now if you notice, I am trying to do this as evenly as possible. Okay, as evenly as possible. All right, step number 1 is complete. What you want to do is, if you see any excess at this spot right here, you're going to want to wipe that off because you don't want any excess. Again, I cannot stress the importance of being careful with the inner slide as it is divided from the outer slide. Now, the second step is you take some of this slide treatment and you put it on right at the edge, the fatter edge of the bottom portion of the slide, and then you do the same thing that you did before with the outer slide. Is you work it and work it, and you're going to notice that it's going to get a little slicker, and that's fine. That's exactly what you want. You want to work it all the way up on both sides. Now, the idea of this is that you're trying to work that slide treatment as much as you can all the way up to the top. Now, it's gonna feel a little creamy. What I mean by that is you will be able to feel that there's a little bit of resistance because you just now put on 2 thicker components of cream. But the nice thing about this is that's not what is going to make it slick. What is going to make it slick is the application of the spray bottle. Now, you should only have to do this super slide, the cream and the treatment, maybe once every couple of weeks, because you only have to do that when the slide gets sticky, and spraying it doesn't help. So what the spray is going to do is it's going to activate the 2 things that you just put on it, and it is going to suddenly become really, really slick, which is what you want. Now, there is a way that you test this to make sure that you have a good slide, and let me show you that. All right. If you still have a little bit of a sticky slide, even after you've done this application, the thing that you got to remember and the thing that you got to do is to see if your slide is actually good. So, you take and you hold this part of the slide and you take off your slide lock, and then you see if the slide drops down. If the slide drops down without any issue, that means that your slide is good. If it ever slides and stops at any point, that means that you have either a dent on the inner slide or the outer slide, or the inner slide is bent outward or inward and it's not allowing this to slide up and down. If that's the case, you need to take it to your band director, like me, or you go and take it to a repair shop. All right, so this is a very simple thing that we did, that is applying the Super Slick slide cream, slide treatment, and the daily spray bottle is what I highly recommend that you have in your trombone case at all times. So that's applying Super Slick to your slide trombone to make it move very fast. Now, if it does not move very fast, again, after you do this, make sure that you take it to your band director or you take it to a repair shop. The last thing you want to do is have, an uncle or your dad try to figure out why it's not working. Because oftentimes, those that have never worked with instruments will do something that can seriously damage the instrument. And they're going to cost money, and that's not a good thing. So, this is all we need to talk about right now for the trombone slide. So, I am just going to say peace out. Love you guys. See you later.